Okay, so there are three different types of graphs that we're going to look at today for our stats unit in secondary one. First of all, I'm going to talk about the dot plot, which is probably one of your more basic graphs. And basically, you just put a dot for each time that number is represented in your data pool. So like this graph here is telling me there was one spot for 1 in their data pool. There were 2 2s, 1 3, 1 4, 2 5s, no 6s, 2 7s, and 1 8. Okay? So I could recreate that data pool just by looking at that graph right there. And really it's just as simple as just on a number line, putting the dot above each number that's represented in your data pool. Not too complicated with the dot plots. The other one I'm going to talk about, that's again not too complicated, is a histogram. Histograms look like bar graphs, but they are not bar graphs. Bar graphs are usually representing categories, and it's kind of like each bar is representing like its own data pool. Histograms, again, look like bar graphs, but they're more about the spread of data or the data distribution. And you'll notice there's no gaps between these bars, and they are usually represented in ranges of data. Okay? So like this means all the 7 and 8s in the data pool are being represented by this bar. Okay? And it kind of shows, if you look at it, how the data is being distributed in that data pool. And I'll go through and do one with you guys in a second here. And then the other one we need to talk about is the box and whisker. This is the one you guys will struggle with the most, but I will show you how to use the calculator to get all the things you need. Basically, to do a box and whisker, you're drawing a line, or you look at your data, and your min and your max, you put a point on a number line for each of those. So if we look at this one, 1 is the min, 8 is the max. Okay, then you need to find your quartile 1 and 3, and then your median is also known as your quartile 2. And you draw a line for each of those, and you connect them to make a little bar looking thing here. Okay, quartile 1 is just the median between, it's like the halfway point between your min and the median. Same thing with quartile 3. It's the middle number between the median and the max. Now obviously that can be a little bit skewed because there could be more numbers at the end than close to the median itself. So that's why it can look a little skewed and not exactly halfway. But I'll show you guys how to use your calculators to do that. But let's look at an example here. So right here, we've got our data set here. So I'm going to go through on my calculator here, and I'm going to plug in the data just like I did with mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, so just plug in this data set right here. So 42, 43, 43, 45, 45, 47, 48, 49, 49, 49, 50, 53, 54, 54, 55, 56. Okay. So once I have plugged in all my data, just like with the mean, median, mode, and range, I need to go to the stat menu. Stat menu is the second option of the data menu. So second, stat, and I'm going to go to one variable stats again, and I'm going to go down to calc. And again, this is the same stuff you got with the mean, median, mode, and range video. This is the mean, right? I want to go all the way down to the bottom because that's where all my box and whisker stuff is. So I can see the min, which is the lowest number in your data set. Quartile 1 I already talked about. Median is also known as quartile 2. And quartile 3, and then the max is the biggest number in your data set. Okay, so I've got all the information I need to do my box and whisker. So if I look here, the min was 42. Okay, so min. The max was 56. So there's my max, 56. Now quartile 3 was 53.5. The median, or quartile 2, is 49. So that is also known as the median right there. Okay, and then quartile 1 was 45. Okay, now that is all I need in order to do a box and whisker. So again, first thing I'm going to do with my box and whiskers, I'm just going to put the specific things where I need them. So first thing, I need a point at the min and the max. So I'm going to go to 42 on my number line. So right here, I'm going to put a point right there, just a big circle. Okay, and you can do a line if you want there as well, but I usually do a circle. And then 56 is the max, so over here is my max. And then I do a line at each of my quartiles. So quartile 1 was at 45. Quartile 3 was at 53.5. So 1, 2, 3.5. Quartile 3. The median was at 49. And now to do the box and whisker, I basically just connect these lines to form a box, and then just draw a line to get my whiskers. And that is the box and whisker that represents all of this data. Box and whiskers can be important because they kind of can show, and you can kind of see we have notes here. They're easier to show outliers, so we can more easily disregard them because we need to know these quartiles in order to figure out outliers. But I'm not going to go into detail on outliers just in this video because you're not going to deal with them this year. Okay. All right. Let's look at an example of our two simpler data sets. So let's do a dot plot. So dot plot, again, you just put a point at each of these data points. So there's 142. So at 42, I put a point. There are two 43s. So 1, 2. There are two 45s. So 1, 2. 147. 3 49s. So 1, 2, 3. 150. 153. Two 54s. A 55 and a 56. And that's your dot plot. That's all you got to do. So you just look at your data, put a point for each dot, or a dot for each number, basically. Okay, and then histograms. I'm going to zoom in here maybe a little bit. Well, you can kind of see. Not really. So this is just going up by 2. So this is 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, etc. Okay, so basically I'm going to draw a line or bar with how many numbers are in each interval here. Okay, so when I do this, 42 or 41, 40 and 41, there's nothing. So no bar. 42, 43, there's 1, 42 and 1, 2, 43. So altogether there are 3 pieces of data in that interval. Okay. Then 44 to 45, there's no 44s, but there are 2 45s. So 2 in that interval. And then no 46, there's 1 47. So 1 in that interval. And then 48, 49, there are 4 of those altogether, 148 and 349. So all the way up to 4 there. Okay, and then 50 and 51, there's just 1 50. Okay, and then 52, 53, there's 1 53. And 54, 55, there are 3 of them, 2 54s, 1 55. Okay, and then 56, there is 1 of those. So that's all you basically are doing for a histogram. Not too different from a dot plot, but you're looking at intervals, which there doesn't seem to be any consistent distribution of these numbers. So you're kind of going up at random a little bit, and you can kind of see that a little bit here. We've got a bunch of holes and stuff as well, but that's basically all you're doing for histograms. So not too tough, right?